Yeah.
And so we,
Hello, Tuesday.
Kevin, how are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, just saw the post on LinkedIn this morning and thought, but I assumed something was happening Thursday, so I don't know. I've been equally confused.
This is a gig thing, right? So there's a gig, guys. Let's go. So
Yeah.
Are you based, most of you, in London or around Europe?
Oh, the Innovation Cafe. So we span now across 15 or 16 time zones. I'm always checking analytics. So we have participants from the US, Canada, Singapore, Japan, but mostly it's UK. Then it's Portugal, probably because I'm from Portugal. I think that's the reason why. And then Germany, north of Europe, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. A few users from Spain, and I'm sure that after Moonshot we will get many users from Spain, which is
We hope so, yeah.
Hopefully.
Germany. There's a good fan base, let's say, user base in Germany as well, and Ireland, of course, Republic of Ireland in Northern Ireland, from both, let's say.
Okay.
So yeah, so in today we are here to learn a bit more about innovation management and platforms that help us to manage innovation. Plus, or the twist here is with artificial intelligence, right? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Just a little bit, because as we say that we are an artificial intelligence platform, we are working on the artificial intelligence right now. So we started developing a platform that covers all the innovation cycle. Because when we talk with chief innovation officers, we ask always, which tools do you use to manage innovation? And always says CRMs and Excel sheets. Those are the most used tools to manage all the innovation cycle. So we start developing a platform when I was in Boston, 2015, just the idea. And we start to develop something that all the innovation ecosystems are doing in physical spaces, but we are doing virtually. So, and covers all the innovation cycle from strategy to launching a new product. So an artificial intelligence is working for recommendations, crawling all the contents that you need to understand, that can help you to work with your innovation map, etc. So, but what we are offering is a tool to manage all the innovation. When you ask a CFO which tools do they use, they can say, okay, we use SAP, something like this. Operations people, the same. Sales people, the same. But innovation people, there is not a tool to manage all the innovation cycle. Yeah, and this is what we are offering.
One might argue, oh yeah, we do manage innovation. Okay, so what is the tool? Oh, it's Jira.
Yeah.
Or Trello.
Yeah, exactly. Trello. Yeah, things like that. But there is not a platform to help you in everything.
Yeah, as David is saying, they are not conceived to be innovation tools. I mean, you will use Trello for a lot of things, from managing a band, a music band, to do things with your mates. So it's not really like an innovation tool. That's the difference at the edge of Moonshot. This is thought by innovators for innovation.
And is there, I'm quite curious, because the thing is there a market for this, or is it too soon? Because I've started Innovation Cafe because I think big old legacy organizations still don't get it. Okay, that's why awareness is so important. Okay, I've also started this project because I think we need to share a lot more between us, the innovation people, to start a movement to educate organizations on the need to innovate. Innovation needs to be repeatable, not just it's not a project. It's part of the DNA, but people don't get that. And when we talk about tools, that's maturity level 2 or maturity level 3. So they recognize there's a need to innovate. There's already a thesis. They want to innovate in a particular area. And there are efforts across the organization to innovate, not just to develop software or to come up with a Scrum team. Because when you talk about innovation in a maturity level 1 organization, they think they do innovation because they do develop software or there's an IT team. Maturity 5, maybe that's Elon Musk. So he knows, he wants to go to Mars with SpaceX. That's his ambition. So he's trying to find the right problems and the right solutions. He's managing all the R&D, and from idea to prototype to, but that's maturity level 5. And I really think big organizations are old from a mindset point of view and ways of working are still on, okay, I don't really get innovation, but I need to know a bit more about this. That's why they don't have the tools. Or else, imagine the ERP. The ERP is the CFO's tool, okay? The CIO tool is what? Jira, to manage incidents, to manage stories, user stories that go to the product backlog. But where are we finding a chief innovation or a head of innovation? It's still very hard to find this person or a head of growth. That's why I'm asking, is there a market for this or is it too soon? Just to challenge a bit your presentation.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too soon, because when you want to sell something and it's soon, wow, you're gonna die probably. And someone else is gonna come later and they're gonna sell it, no? Well, I don't think it's soon. When we start with this idea and came in Boston, when I start to hear about the concept innovation ecosystem, I think it was too soon, okay? But now everyone is getting this concept and they are appropriating the concept as they have an innovation ecosystem. But what I learned with an MIT professor, what is an innovation ecosystem, I learned that it is something specific that every government is trying to get, and they are saying, okay, innovation ecosystem is what I have. Innovation ecosystem of Madrid, innovation ecosystem of London, innovation ecosystem of BMW. So everyone is saying that they have an innovation ecosystem, but what is an innovation ecosystem? It's an environment that belongs to someone, and innovation, it's the CIO, the Chief Innovation Officer. It's more an ecosystem manager than innovation manager. What I mean? So innovation is a community of people to develop something. Community of people means workers, employees of the company, startups from outside, experts from universities, other companies that don't compete with you. So everyone working together, they can evolve to have new products that they can create working together in one area that I control as an innovation, as ecosystem manager. So if you want, I can share 6 slides. And so this is what I learned when I was in Boston. So an ecosystem, it's an environment that belongs to someone, belongs to a government, belongs to a company, belongs to a university, whoever wants to orchestrate and start an ecosystem. And this ecosystem is like a party. I'm starting a party and I say, this party is about Halloween, okay? So this ecosystem is, it's about graphene for my electrical cars or for batteries or for whatever I want to create this ecosystem. And all the stakeholders that want to join my ecosystem, my environment, and I am the Chief Innovation Officer, is because I'm inviting them or I am accepting them. So I want to work with all these stakeholders, and I don't want here anyone that is not going to participate. So you can understand this, how is the MIT ecosystem built? So MIT, they have a university, and all the buildings around MIT belongs to them, and all the big pharmaceutical companies, startups, R&D groups, investors, government is around MIT, and they are following the strategic goals of MIT, and they are working together, okay? They have a real ecosystem in a physical space. What is a digital ecosystem is the same that is happening in a physical space, but in a virtual space. So when MIT, as an example, they build an ecosystem and they want to put some strategic goals to be followed by all the stakeholders, it's because they want to work with all these people. And these people, these stakeholders, they want to join the ecosystem because they are looking for something really specific and really selfish. So the approach of a startup to an ecosystem is because they are looking for money and they are looking to accelerate the technology with someone else. The approach of investor to an ecosystem is because the investor is looking for a good deal flow to invest. And probably in this ecosystem, they are going to find the good deal flow. So in a physical ecosystem, all the stakeholders, they are looking for something specific. In a virtual ecosystem, it's the same. So if you have answers, questions, please interrupt me. And this is more a cafe than a lecture, okay? But the most important thing in an ecosystem is, so talking about tools that chief innovation officers are using, those are the kind of tools they are using. Okay, if you go more to AI and data analytics, you have Seed Insights, you have PitchBook for investors. If you go to scouting and you want to discover startups, you go to Crunchbase, AngelList. If you go more to innovation management, okay, you can find tools to launch challenges, to do workshops, okay? So there are a lot of tools, but there is not one tool, okay? And what we are doing, creating innovation ecosystem in a digital space, is the same that innovation people from companies or governments are looking in a physical spaces, connecting, giving the tool to people to connect, okay? And having services to produce events to help the company to do innovation. Okay, so, and one thing that we found is, okay, if we want to connect innovation with industries, okay, we have industries very well categorized, but we don't have innovation very well categorized. So we went to Israel and we said, okay, what is innovation and how can we build a taxonomy of innovation? Because if we need to connect disruptive innovation that is happening in Israel, as an example, or Boston, how do we connect this with industries? So if I am from the vehicle industry, what is my innovation map? How innovation is impacting me? So we went to Israel and we created what we consider the first innovation taxonomy. This is a categorization of innovation. So we did this in 3 different levels. So the first level is what we call nodes. These nodes is probably 99.9% of what is doing, what is happening in disruptive innovation. So we have nanotechnology and robotics as a first node, energy, sustainability or clean tech, AI and digital life, and life science. Okay, these 5 nodes have in the second level what we call cells. These cells are a group of technologies. Okay, and the third level is what we call KETs, key enabled technology. We have right now 450 technologies. Behind of every KET, every technology, there is a startup, or there is an R&D group, or there is an expert. Okay, and how do we connect in an ecosystem these industries with innovation? So if your approach is as a innovation seeker and you are looking for innovation, okay, we recommend you what is your innovation map. And this is something that is happening in the physical spaces in an ecosystem. So if I am a startup producing sensors for electric vehicles, okay, I'm here, how do I connect with industries? And if I am from this industry, how the innovation is impacting me? So we are creating these innovation maps. Okay, and what I told you at the beginning about the innovation cycle, this is the innovation cycle, okay? Starting from strategy and finishing, this is the funnel, and finishing from in a product. So, and as Adrian said, how do you manage this? Do you manage this with Trello? Do you manage this with a CRM? Do you manage this with Excel sheets? Because at the end, if you need to manage innovation, we created a bunch of functionalities to cover all the innovation funnel. Okay, so starting from strategy, the other day I was talking with a big company of 40,000 employees from Europe, and I asked them, okay, what tools do you use to manage all the innovation in your company? And they said CRM, and we are building our own CRM, no? And we have been working with Excel sheets for many years. Okay, but what they need to know what is the strategy for the whole company. They need to discover things. They need to discover with the AI. So a crawling system and a word-to-back technology can help you to understand from articles and documents what are innovation providers doing and how they are impacting to industries. And extracting these concepts and putting this in vectors and words, we can recommend to industries specific things that companies as them, they are doing around the world. And we can recommend stakeholders, we can recommend startups. And well, this is the discovery area. This is the action area. So if you want to launch challenges, you can allow stakeholders from your ecosystem to connect through a follow-up room. You can do entrepreneurship. This is not only open innovation. Big companies, they are doing entrepreneurship. So you have also tools to do this. Evaluation, this is a nice tool for chief innovation officers because we consider innovation guys, people around 40, 50 years old, surrounded by stoppers. Okay, the CTO many times is a stopper, the CFO is a stopper, the CEO isn't the stopper, the CEO is the guy who pushed the CIO to do innovation, okay? But this is when you want to close a funnel and you want to ask the chief innovation officer to involve different areas, different silos of the company, because innovation, as you know, is not a department, it's a transversal to a whole company. You need to involve different areas. So the evaluation is a fast track, is a perfect tool to involve all the different silos. No? And at the end, launch POCs, prototypes. This is a sandbox tool. So this is a tool we are providing. And innovation ecosystem is when you open your own environment, all the data that happens in the ecosystem belongs to you, and all the things happening in the ecosystem belongs to you. It's your private party, where you invite and you develop innovation with the people you want to do it. Okay. This is a concept that is happening in many companies, in many governments, but there are no tools to create real ecosystems in virtual spaces. Well, Moonshot is the first one, no? So if you have questions, because I understand, Hugo, this is more a cafe. No?
I think we do. So guys, feel free to unmute, ask really hard questions just to challenge our guest. Okay, who wants to go first? I can go first. You didn't identify it in your, so there was a slide with many platforms. There's a famous one called, I think it's Bright Idea. It's quite popular, I think. Yeah, thanks for sharing again. Bright Idea, because Q Markets is there. That is another famous platform. Yeah, on the right.
Yeah.
There's another one from a company in Germany called Itonics.
I know it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then there are, of course, probably smaller platforms or niche platforms, and you are right. We don't find a web platform that covers everything. We had a guest here weeks ago from Vima. I think it's from also the innovation management platform.
Okay.
Or idea management. It was more on the idea management, not the full cycle. And one of our guests was from trend watching, trend-based innovation. So it's also one component, but it doesn't cover everything. Itonics, I think they really do ecosystem management with AI, but that's our next session. So yeah.
But what I saw, I don't know if Itonics is like this. Are they consultants?
No, product company.
What?
It's a product company.
It's a product company, not consultants. Okay, because I was looking for Itonics and I didn't understand really if they were consultants or not. Because what I saw, it's innovation is really attached with consultancy firms that they are developing their own platforms to help the consultancy process. Okay, so we are probably close to Itonics.
Probably, I'm not 100% sure. That's why there's a session. I have another question. You guys are already in the market, right? So what type of projects are you guys running at the moment? You don't need to disclose the name of the client, but a few examples or use cases where you guys are adding value.
We are working right now more with governments starting also with universities in Colombia and with one innovation hub between Chile and Massachusetts. Okay, so we developed the platform, the version 1 from 2018 to 2020, and we start to commercialize the platform with the COVID in March 16th with Adrian. So it was a great time to start. It was really complicated. So we are working in United States, Colombia, and in Spain with governments, universities, and starting with companies also. We have 6 different verticals because innovation ecosystem is something that everyone would want to do it, but governments, they say that they have an innovation ecosystem and many times they don't have anything, but they need to have a platform to connect all the different stakeholders.
So that means that if I want to search for an organization that is able to do X, Y, or Z, I can search on their platform. Your platform will recommend one specific player to do that thing?
Yeah, there's quite a few ecosystems already. You can just take a look at where like floats your boat. You can actually get in, try to get invited, and you can participate on that. Yeah, there's quite a few actually, yeah.
Any type of thing. Imagine it. I need to 3D print a wheel for the car that I'm preparing to go to Mars. So where can I find the 3D printer that can print a car wheel?
The thing is, like, if you have a necessity like that, which is a very specific one, you might want to open your own ecosystem. And I'll tell you why. The thing is, like, if you have certain needs, you might need to surround yourself, like, with people or companies that are on your same way, if that makes any sense. So if you go to another company's ecosystem, you might not get that because they might not be doing the same exact thing that you might need. They might be developing wheels, but for Venus or for any other, I don't know, that was like a silly example, but you know what I mean, right? So the idea with this is to make your own innovation map, because your company, you're the only one who actually knows your company, have your own strategy. So that's the idea. But you as a consultant, as a stakeholder, as an investor, or even as a startup, you can apply to different ecosystems. And that will be up to you. There's engineering ecosystems, there are government ecosystems, there are like pure retail ecosystems. So you can just choose. So it's a different kind of role playing that you're playing in that.
Yeah, if you are providing of a 3D printing because you are a really good company or startup doing this, you can find ecosystems that they are looking for this, okay? But if you are a company looking for something specific in 3D, you may create your own ecosystem, open a license, and invite all the different stakeholders that can work with you. So those are the different roles. And as an example, there is a government in Spain, in the north of Spain, that they are going to start in a few weeks. They are really good in 3D printing, okay? And there are big companies doing 3D printing in this ecosystem. So if you are a provider or you are a seeker and you want to work in this environment, you can ask to participate in this ecosystem. So it's not like a big database where you can search something. For that, you can go to Crunchbase or you can go to other platforms to find a stakeholder. This is a platform to create ecosystems and to work with companies that they want to work with you or you want to work with them in a closed environment.
Hey guys, I got a quick question around IP protection. Obviously, when I saw that massive ecosystem that you've shown earlier, which has got the cells and everything, and let's say if I'm going to be leveraging on that new ecosystem, you know, with a great new idea that I have, or you know, my colleagues would have. And I might need to leverage several of those ecosystem partners to make it come alive. How do I protect myself, you know, from losing that great idea from a legal viewpoint, though? Since if I'm going to use it, and how do I protect myself much better?
So if you create your own ecosystem because you want to work with different stakeholders, all the data belongs to you. So nobody is going to see anything because all the data and all the things that's happening in the ecosystem belongs to you, okay?
Yeah.
if you invite a startup or you invite companies and you don't want to disclose anything really specific, and they are not going to see anything, instead you invite them to participate in one challenge or in one workshop or in a follow-up room. So when a stakeholder participates in your ecosystem, they are going to see just part of what you are showing. And if you invite them to participate in something specific, you're going to sign an NDA also. So
yeah, okay.
Also,
So, yeah.
go on, Fabian. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No, I was just worried that Hugo, when you get one of the ecosystem partners to print that super Venus wheel, I think, you know, that I think, you know, it's it might be something, you know, I don't know how you protect something like that though.
Yeah, as an example, NASA, we have a good relation with them. So NASA opens an ecosystem, okay? And they are working with microsatellites to launch to Mars, okay? This ecosystem belongs to NASA. Nobody's going to see anything. When NASA invites startups or experts or R&D groups from a university, all of them, they are going to see the stakeholders of this ecosystem, but nobody's going to see what they are talking between them. NASA can open a follow-up room, okay? How do you say this in English? I'm sorry.
A data room.
Let's say it in Spanish.
Yeah, it's a confidential space with a data room, with a chat, okay? Only the people participating in this follow-up room, in this data room, you're going to see what's going on inside, but they can sign an NDA. If NASA launches a challenge in the ecosystem and NASA invites all the stakeholders can participate, but NASA can choose more specific challenge. And also, because it's an ecosystem, startup from this NASA ecosystem and R&D group from this NASA ecosystem, they can open a follow-up room and they can talk. And NASA not to be involved in this conversation, but they can see that these two stakeholders, they are talking. So it's more than a connecting platform. It's an ecosystem, real ecosystem. So we studied what is happening in Boston, in Silicon Valley, and MIT and Israel, and we created the same virtually. So NASA, it's the owner of and the promoter of this ecosystem, but they allow the people to talk also and connect and produce new follow-up rooms and new events that NASA can participate also.
I was going also to ask, I think that your question, Fabian, was a little bit more if you were the startup. So if you're a startup that has some kind of technology, what you're actually doing is digitalizing your pitch. You're doing a nice portfolio to be attractive, but they don't have to know more than you would say on a meeting. That means if you're open to do a meeting with different companies because you're looking for the money, you need the investment, you need to disclose some of your details, not all of them. So this will be more or less the same. You're a startup, you need the money, you're looking for someone to accelerate your technology, you need to be attractive, but you're going to do a pitch. It's going to be a digital pitch. Might be a video, might be a few PDFs, but that's it. So your actually intellectual property is going to be safe because you're like doing sales just in a different way.
Yeah, and when you have a conversation in a follow-up room, anything you talk, anything you share, it's going to be private. I don't know if I answer your question, Fabian.
No. I mean, it's a good one. Obviously, you know, if Adrian and you guys have a great idea, even though it's a pitch, you know, the idea itself could be the unique, you know, element on its own. Sometimes it's hard to break it up, to a meaningful way that you feel comfortable with. So it's good. I mean, if you have a very complicated ecosystem, but some ideas are so simple, and so unique that it doesn't need to be broken down into its sub-components. And once people see that, and if they have the velocity to move faster than you, and if you're not well protected, that's where I think the worry comes in, you know, especially, you know, since now in a post-COVID or COVID world, everyone is trying to come up with great new ideas to do things differently, right? So that's where, you know, my fear comes in, it kicks in, the natural tendency for one to protect oneself much more, you know, it's going to be something that I think, you know, will be in the minds and hearts, you know, of budding, you know, innovators, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand what is the problem, the problem that you guys are trying to solve, because I've already seen a few platforms, let's call it solutions, where I can manage the ecosystem. So I can add companies to the ecosystem. I can invite them to a specific challenge. Many platforms do some bits of this or the whole thing. On the other hand, there's also a problem. Let me give you an example in banking, where traditional banks want to find a fintech to partner with. And there are 12,000 fintech in the world. So they don't know, or they spend a lot of time just to figure out what is the right fintech to partner with. Okay, so imagine a bank in UK might need to do X, Y, or Z, and that company only exists in Japan. But how long does it take to find that company? And vice versa. That startup, that fintech also wants to partner with a bank, and probably they are trying in the wrong country. So it's like, sorry for comparing, it's like a Tinder for I need something, I can provide something, let's make it easier to match. Is this the type of thing you guys are doing, plus those secret rooms?
That's what David said at the beginning with the tagging thing. So the more information you actually provide to the platform, the more it's going to be able to help you. Why is that? Because it might find more examples. Yeah.
I to tag manually.
Yeah, well, we are tagging right now manually with the artificial intelligence. After summer, we will do it more automatically. Okay, so this taxonomy is going to be an ontology. Taxonomy means that it's fixed. So if I discover a new technology because there is a startup doing, because when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about only about this. But there are many technologies working with artificial intelligence. So if I discover a startup in Japan doing natural language question answering, something like this, and there is a bank in London looking for something specific, we are going to match this. Well, we match this right now automatically. But this taxonomy is fixed. So we change the concepts manually right now. We have 450 different technologies. With the ontology, this discovery is going to be more automatically because we find relations and we recommend these relations. And at the same time, we read articles from Google Scholar, from MIT, from Harvard. We understand with a word-to-back technology what these words, and we understand the concepts, and we can automatically recommend to you an article, a startup, an expert, or company that is offering the specific thing that you need.
So it's a search engine for innovation.
Exactly.
All right, there's a need for that because imagine Crunchbase. I can use Crunchbase to find a startup.
Yeah.
What they do, I think the business model is they hire a lot of people to search for interesting companies. They add those companies to the database, and then they sell that access. They sell the access to that information, but they do it manually. And there are many organizations. In every single country, there's one organization that does that. Then there are a few open innovation boutique consultancy that they also provide this service. But this is like, let's go back to the 90s. When I wanted to use a search engine, I could use Alta Vista or whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the crawler. It was a group of people adding URLs to a database. So on the innovation side, in particular niche things, it's still a manual process. I need to go on Google, call someone, go to Crunchbase to find that mad scientist that can help me to solve that problem, or that early stage startup that is not on Crunchbase yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we are using Crunchbase. We have an API with Crunchbase, but we cannot put all the information from Crunchbase in Moonshot because it's not. So Crunchbase, it's saying, okay, here you have artificial intelligence startups or companies, because they don't tell me the difference between startups or companies. But I need to go more specific in artificial intelligence and technologies to offer you what you really need. That is quantum computing or is machine learning. But this is not only artificial intelligence impacting to your specific industry, because your industry can be defense, and this artificial intelligence startup is working only for defense or for automotive or for retail or for construction. So we are connecting industries to innovation, and innovation in the third level, so the specific technologies. And also we have 50 scouters mapping all the time, mapping and trying to talk with the founders, because the information you find in Crunchbase or in AngelList or many platforms, it's not the last and very accurate information. So you need to talk with founders and to understand if they are still alive and in which level of funding or which level of TRL in technology they are. So.
Hi, Andre. I don't know if you want to unmute yourself. Andre, he's a super connector because he hosts the productized conference.
Okay.
So Andre, if you want to
unmute. Hi, Hugo. Thanks for doing such a superstar intro.
But, no, you are a superstar, Andre. So welcome.
No, you are the superstar. You guys are. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we organized Productized Conference. Was the first product managers and product innovators conference here in Portugal. We started 6 years ago, and we have been doing this for since 2015. But I actually met Hugo maybe almost 10 years ago, and has been a huge fun since then. Roller coaster, maybe.
You're based in Portugal.
He's muted again. Yeah, Andre
I'm just trying to save your ears from my ears. Yeah. So I know you want, but we started in Lisbon, and we have been doing the event in Lisbon this year. We were forced to disrupt ourselves, and we are doing an online only event. So we are actually starting this month of July with a series of workshops that are going to be weekly until the end of the year. And then in November, the week before the Web Summit, we'll have our main conference, which is really a full day of talks from leading innovators, product people. And yeah.
So I think Moonshot wants the main stage, Andre. So please for Moonshot, because they are going to be the most exciting company in your conference. Well, but the thing, go back to your unique selling point or to the value proposition. It's what the real problem is, the time it takes in the effort to find the type of technology or innovation that I need. Is that the thing?
Well, it's not only the thing, okay? The thing is, okay, so there are many things, okay? There is not only one thing. So when you want to use a platform to manage innovation, you need one platform to do everything you need to do. With a platform, you can do many things, many different things. So probably you need only to do scouting to find these specific startups that you want to work with, okay? But then, but also you need to establish the strategy for the whole company. The other day, talking up with this big European company, they said the most complicated thing for us was to establish the strategy for the whole countries, because every country was doing different things. And in the year conference, we saw, in yearly conferences, we saw every year we saw that Spain was doing this different things of France and different things of Italy, or we were repeating the same things every country. So establish the strategy. So the platform can help you to establish the strategy, to do scouting, to discover through the artificial intelligence tool, to establish the problem, because when you start innovation, you can start from the problem point of view or from the opportunity point of view. From the problem point of view means I am Israel. From the opportunity point of view means I am United States. Okay, pains or gains. Okay, Israel is a region surrounded by wars. They don't have industries, they have only problems. From the problems, they can start innovation processes. They can understand what is happening in my country, what problem do I have, what are the causes that produce the problem, and what are the potential solutions. So we had digitalized workshop or design thinking process also. And also you can jump to it is a platform to do many, many things. So we can find in potential clients that they want to use only the strategy part or the scouting part or the challenges part. So at the end, the problem that we are solving is, okay, you have one tool to do whatever you want to do in innovation because we are covering all the innovation cycle. And the artificial intelligence is going to help you a lot. Okay, it's going to help you to find the path, or it's going to help you to understand what you should do in innovation, because we find many chief innovation officers in a real complicated situation because the president or the board, they say, hey, you have to do innovation. They arrive to the company, they start to look around and they say, in what do we have to do innovation? Because we don't know. And they move to a CTO role. Okay, let's try to do. So the CTO wants to control all the technology and not change things. And the innovation guy has to be something to design the future of the company. And design the future of the company is not easy because you're gonna, ¿cómo se dice? Equivocar.
Yeah, I get the point.
Yeah,
that's why Alexander Westerwalder he now defends the chief entrepreneur or chief entrepreneurship officer to address tomorrow and beyond. So the CEO is focused on today, exploiting the current business model.
Exactly. And design the future of your company is not easy. This is something that CB Insight is doing, designing the market maps. Okay, this is something that we are going to do at the end of this year. Design your own market map, invite the stakeholders you want to work with, and invite them in your own space and work with different innovation processes. That can be entrepreneurship, that can be workshops, that can be follow-up rooms or challenger or whatever. So answering your question is not only one thing, are many, many things. But the thing is, create your own environment to work with the people you want to work. And this is an ecosystem.
May I ask, what is your business model?
Yes, licensing. All the people ask us, can you be a consultant? And we say, no, we don't want to be consultants. This is not scalable. But we want to work with a lot of consultants because like SAP or Salesforce, that they made reach many consultants. We want to make consultants richer with Moonshot. Because
looking for consultants now, or are you also looking for partners to co-develop the product? And from a funding point of view, where are you guys at the moment as well?
Right now, we are still developing the platform. We are focused right now on the artificial intelligence, and we are expanding. Our next step is to move to United States. Because we believe that from Spain is going to be complicated to growth and to scale this platform. Spain, I think, is the best country to live, but not to develop our company.
Well, I'm quite biased, I would say. Might be Portugal, but okay.
Well, Spain, Portugal, I think that are the best countries to live.
Oh, yeah.
I love Portugal, really. My last time was with the Web Summit 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. Wow, I love Portugal.
I also love Spain and Madrid in particular, but of course Barcelona. Yeah. All right. Fast forwards. Who is your? I have a lot of questions here. Who is your competitor at the moment? If there is one, there's always one. When we follow, when we want to become better.
Can be Itonics, probably. So
Okay.
platforms like this.
Iconics. Okay.
Yeah, platforms like this can be our competitor. So the first one is gonna. So there, I think there will be one company leading the innovation. Okay. If we think about a platform to manage all the innovation. So if Iconics is doing the same as us, Iconics is our competition. And also, well, consultants, they are not competitors. Consultants are more allies. And platforms that they are doing something specific that can be Seed Insights, or I don't know if Crunchbase, but so platforms like this that they can steal our niche in one company. You know? But the most competitors are CRMs and Excel sheets, as I said at the beginning. Yeah, when you go to a company and they say, no, we are okay. We are doing this with CRM or Excel sheet. This is our competitors. Very cheap, but this is not an ecosystem.
All right. Yeah, no, yeah, that's maturity level 1. When the company is managing innovation using a spreadsheet in the CRM, yeah, it's not your target audience, of course. That's pretty clear. Kevin, you haven't unmuted.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions, if you don't mind me jumping in. First one is kind of a question about network effects and to what extent there are network effects here. Because if I'm coming to this as a new client, and I have to manually set up everybody that I already know and then scout manually for people I don't know, that's kind of a pain in the ass. And I might think, why am I going to bother buying a new tool or learning it? But if I can come to this and there is already an established level of understanding that I can tap into of partners who I can already understand their existing relationships with other people who might be similar to me, and when I get them involved in a conversation, they understand the platform in which I'm talking to them, that increases my speed to moving through that initial conversation, discovery, pilot, and then working with them later kind of stage. So I'm sort of trying to get my head around, as my first of two questions, to what extent this is a closed system where I have to populate everything myself, and to what extent it's a system where there are already existing network effects which I can tap into, but put up barriers to my IP and to communication to stop my secrets leaking out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just to try to go for a circle, I will refer to David's first word. This is an environment where everyone is so selfish. That means that depending on your actual goal, you can actually be an actor on a different environment, and that will mean just trying to get into that already created environment, try to everyone to notice you and maybe get that you want. But if you're a company, you have your own needs. They're not going to be shared with any other company in the world, because you have your own strategy. So even though it's like a little bit like setting up Facebook, to put like a clear example, at the beginning you don't have a lot of friends, but as soon as you have like 50, it just works itself. You know what I mean? So it's really depending on your goal. If you just want to get the money or a very selfish goal, you just can apply to different ecosystems and you can be part of them. The thing will already be created and you can benefit from that. But if you as a company would like to do the future of your company to establish yourself in time, you need to develop on your own, and that's going to take time. This is like, I don't know, how many hours can someone spend on an Excel sheet, copying emails, doing some coloring? It's a lot of time, and it's not very worth it, if you know what I mean, because you get nothing from that. It's just literally putting data on a sheet. So that will be, yeah.
This is the, thank you, Adrian. Kevin, this is the architecture. So talking about the networking. So Moonshot, we have our brain and we share everything to all the different ecosystems. And here you can create different ecosystems. So imagine this is BMW, this is Coca-Cola, this is Walt Disney, this is NASA, and this is Spain government, okay? They are independent. They cannot see anything from the other ecosystem. I can be a startup applying to NASA, okay? Because I am doing graphene for microsatellites. But if NASA allows me to share the stakeholders they have because they are paying cheaper license, okay, I am going to share all the stakeholders of NASA to other ecosystems that match with the same strategy goals. So if there is an ecosystem looking for startups doing graphene for microsatellites, I'm going to share this startup that this is in NASA to this ecosystem that is in Japan. Okay, so we work with open ecosystems, closed ecosystems, and invisible ecosystems. So open ecosystem means that I can, as Moonshot, see who you have, and I'm gonna upload to my database who you have, if it's interesting for me, because you can invite a bakery, but it's not interesting for me. But if you invite a good startup, I'm gonna upload it to my database, and I'm gonna recommend it to other ecosystems. I'm not going to see what you are doing, what you are talking, or what projects you are doing with these startups. I'm going to see only the public file of this startup or this expert. If you allow me to share this information because you are paying a cheaper license, I'm gonna share it. So if you are a startup in this ecosystem, you are going probably to be in other ecosystems recommended. Okay, so this is viral. This can be viral. But if you want to pay a more expensive license and you want to have a closed ecosystem, not to share anything, or invisible ecosystem and not allow people to knock your door, you can do it also. You can create your invisible space as an internal tool to manage innovation, and nobody's going to see you. An open and closed ecosystem, you're going to be visible, and the people can knock your door to participate with you in your own space. So that means that we are going to see everything, but we are going to share what we can share. Our goal is in 5-7 years to have a lot of information of what are the industries doing in innovation, what are the trends of innovation, and what are the next movements of different industries through the ecosystems that they are all under the umbrella of Moonshot.
I got a question. It's Fabian again. Just now you mentioned that you see Itronics as a competitor. Is it?
Well, Hugo told me, I was looking the other day the platform, and I didn't really go deeply in what they are doing. So
all right. So when are you buying them up so that all the ecosystems could benefit?
I didn't understand the question, sorry.
Some people did.
Yeah, I know. It's my English, sorry. Fabian.
No, I'm just saying, just kidding you. I'm just saying, when are they buying you out? Oh, sorry. When are you buying them out?
I
think, the market opportunity is so great right now.
Yes.
You open, close, and invisible ecosystem. Likewise for them, they're probably doing the same thing. They're selling it for license.
Yeah.
But for aspiring, innovators, startups in the market, wouldn't, market leaders like you guys, like Moonshot, Itronics, if you guys combine together, I believe the market is big enough for, a marriage though, right?
Can be.
No, the thing is, I think that David right now being the CEO of the company really, really trusts his idea, and they are developing something that they want to be unique because they think that they feel a gap that wasn't filled before. So, I mean, everything can be discussed, obviously, but it's quite early for us to think about that because, I mean, we want to have our piece of the cake. And normally it's quite complicated when you get into a joint venture with such a large company, already established company, you're going to be the lesser part, and no one wants to be that, especially because we think our ideas are quite good, and they solve problems, especially for innovators, because we had thousands of chats during these months lockdown. Why? Because people got the time for the first time in history. Normally you guys innovators are very busy, you're trying to make the next move, and time is really valuable. So for the first time we got like a lot of time to have chats with people, and we learn a lot. And I think that what we're actually covering is not covered by any company. So why would you share that? I mean, you can benefit from like a larger database, surely, or the publicity itself, but it's not the same because it won't be your idea and you won't have the control, and maybe your ideas are going to get diluted in that sea of a larger company. So right now, I don't think it's actually the best approach for us, but it can be in the future. I mean, you never know, especially with these things, you never know.
Yeah.
Does it make any sense? Yeah.
I fully understand, sometimes people fall in love for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Don't get me wrong. We really thinking what we're doing doesn't mean that we're the best doing that or we're going to be the ultimate solution. So we need to learn. And every single day we learn more and more and more and more. But right now for a joint venture with a company that big, I don't think it's going to be good for us because we'll get like eaten. And it's going to be like a project for them, like a side project.
Hugo, are we having Itronics talk tomorrow?
It is tomorrow. So this is the Innovation Ecosystem Week. Clearly.
I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's at 6 p.m. Probably 7 p.m. Central time. It's 6 p.m. London time, I think.
Yeah. Tomorrow we are gonna do like a SWOT analysis of the two platforms. We're gonna go do deep dive. We're gonna be publishing, immensely in the marketplace.
Fabian, it's going to be a battle. Itronics versus.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see people in those inflated sumo suits, really.
I'm gonna be there. I want to know that these people. Yeah.
It's going to be quite interesting, yeah.
To go back to something Hugo was saying about the level 1 innovation and spreadsheets and so forth, to a certain extent, to defend that, and sort of maybe ask a question about this platform, and maybe tomorrow I'll want the same question. If I was running a set of innovative product developments, right, and my background is not huge companies. When Hugo says banks, right, anything I've done is missing zeros as far as the bank's concerned. So in a previous role, we were running maybe a couple of £1 million worth of product development, and we did it on an open ecosystem and an open innovation model. And one of the key ways that I made that work was by connecting people at the project manager level in the different companies and excluding the business principals and the sales guys, because then we got the honest conversations about what people could do. My fear with something like this, if I was in that role now, and you folks were pitching this to me, my fear would be that you want me to set up a clearly defined system that companies will have access to. I don't get to informally exclude the people who are trying to gouge each other or pitch all the time or so forth. So I can't foster informal conversation because the whole thing is now structured through a piece of software that I do not control. Is that a problem, or is there a way around that for me as somebody managing this piece of software?
Actually, control is a thing that you will have all the time. That means that those relationships that obviously are going to be a feature on that platform are going to be under your strategy. That means that if you just want to invite certain people, it's not going to offend anyone in the company because you might just want to have a chat. Different departments will have different needs and you don't need salespeople. I'm a sales person, so obviously I'm going to have my input, sales. But maybe I'm not necessary and I'm going to take it personally. Why would I? Because I know nothing about, rocket science. So why would I have some kind of input? At the end of the day, this is about trying to get the company to work for as many years as we can and being relevant to the industry. So I think that key players need to understand where they're key and where they're not. That wouldn't be an issue. You can just launch a challenge with 30 people. That should be okay. Yeah. Unless you're working with really envious and jelly people. That will be something you might want to change your company. Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? Professional wise, you need to be professional. That means that if you need to develop the right relationships, it's going to be with the right people. And you're going to be the guy in charge. Just to put you an example, but that's going to be up to you. That means the follow-up room with R&D people is just going to be a follow-up room with R&D people. No one should be invited because that's just with a specific purpose.
Yeah, or you launch a POC, a prototype process, and you invite internal stakeholders, so employees of your company, just 2 of them, and 1 expert and 1 R&D group and 1 startup from your ecosystem, working together in 1 sandbox we call POC, okay? You don't need to invite all the people. You need only to invite the specific people that are gonna solve these specific problems. Yeah.
Any final questions or question?
maybe I can have one just as a brain teaser. So I'm very attentive to the ecosystem landscape. And one of the things that kind of strikes me, I kind of piggyback on Kevin's question about having a meta ecosystem and have a larger point of view over the actors. And I think the next one challenge for you guys is to get rid of the orchestrator role. So I think one of the things that prevent innovation in the emergence of ecosystems and kind of the serendipitous spirit is that within your business model, you need to have an orchestrator. You need a sponsor for the ecosystem. If you can find a way around your business model of licensing, which I can relate to that it is a challenge, I think that's an interesting avenue to pursue. How can you govern those ecosystems without a leading role? Because eventually, when you go about it in that perspective, from my experience, what you end up creating is an ecosystem which is always biased towards the sponsor. So you have a buying larger participant and the provider of services or goods or components to the larger view. But that's, so it doesn't help for partnerships in an equal standing.
It's a good question, Daniel. It's a good point, because an orchestrator, it's absolutely, it's necessary. If there is an orchestrator or a team to dynamize the ecosystem, this is not going to work. But it doesn't work in a physical space, neither in digital space. So orchestrator is a company who owns the ecosystem. So the platform is going to help you to understand the strategy, to find good stakeholders to work with, but the owner, the orchestrator of this ecosystem has to work with the platform to manage, to dynamize, to invite, to follow the strategy of the company. So many times when we talk with potential clients, they ask us if we can recommend them a consultant from outside of the company to help them to orchestrate the ecosystem the first 6 months to 1 year, because sometimes it's complicated for them to do the job. But it's essential to have someone to orchestrate and to follow the strategy of the company. The tool is a tool. The platform is just a platform. It's going to help you to manage all of this. The artificial intelligence will give you more insights and will help you a little bit more. But the orchestrator has to follow the strategy of the company. So you're right. And we cannot help, and we don't want to help on this point. We can recommend you people to work with. Those are consultants.
Very good. One final question. Another one. Roger, if you want to unmute, feel free. If not, that's fine. It's good to have you here as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I cannot have a lot of noise at home, so, and I don't have any question for now.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you. Any final considerations from Moonshot?
It's going to be interesting tomorrow to meet Itonics people. So thank you to do it, Hugo.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem, right? Actually, I'm an ecosystem enabler or broker or proxy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing here. Okay, guys. So thank you very much. How do you say in Spanish? Yo realmente disfruté. Muchas gracias.
Obrigado.
Thank you very much. All, it was a pleasure. See you tomorrow, end of the day. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone. Yeah. Have a nice evening.
It's going to be the same link, Zoom link.
Check on the meeting chat or www.innovationcafe.com. That event, and the link is there. It's a different link every session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.